back at WNST, Towson, Baltimore, and Baltimore Positive. I've let my hair down. My friend Leonard Raskin told me to let my hair down like Mark Gastineau since we're playing the Jets next year. So that's part of the fun of what we're letting myself play here. But this is our weekly lottery segment that we usually have a lot of fun during this segment. We talk about the football odds and stuff. Now that the Ravens are done, John, this may be my chance to go to one of the casinos. I'll be honest with you. I've been very locked into all this. And all of a sudden, I'm like, oh, it's football season, it's playoffs. We're not involved here. I still have a handful of Ravens scratch-offs, but the Ravens season is sadly over, John.
Yeah. You've got a little free time now, Nestor. But you know what? For those of our listeners and viewers and fans, I'm going to say we have fans, Nestor. I know you have lots of fans, but I'm going to say we have fans. If anybody was playing the bingo card, no one had Mark Gastineau on their card. That was a nice reference to Mark Gastineau.
He was trying to get a Trevor Lawrence thing. Honestly, that's where it began with the long hair thing. And I'm like, it's more like mullet 80s hockey when I really think about it. I think of it more of like slap shot is kind of where I go, like a late 70s kind of thing. John Martin is here. He is the executive director of the Maryland Lottery and Gaming. We let ourselves play. I've got scratch-offs, and I want to be honest. I mean, I thought we were going to be at Nacho Mama's for Elvis's birthday this week with the mask and the situation. We've kind of hiatused a little bit. I got something up my sleeve in May that we're going to be out doing a whole bunch of things around the city. But I will be giving out away some scratch-offs and giving away some prizes. We're going to get back out to doing all the things that we do with crab cakes. But this has been, I guess, from the turn of the year, we're a little cooped up, right? And I know we talk about the lottery. My wife and I talk about Jeopardy every night, like games we can play to entertain ourselves and win money. The Powerball got out of hand last week, John, and I had Roz on. She filled in for you. And literally, we went out to get some Chinese food. And I didn't go into Royal Farms or Wise or any of my sponsors. It was like down and dirty. It was cold out. It was 6:30 at night. We got some food. My wife looked up and saw the Big L. It was a little convenience store right in the center of the city. I don't even know what the name of it was. And I went in with $20. My wife sent me in. She wanted to smell the Chinese food in the car while it was, how good that smells, because I got some egg rolls. And I went in and there was a machine, and I'm intimidated by the machine, John. I did it old school, mask on, gave the $20. I got separate tickets. I came out with 10 tickets. My wife's like, you can get them all on one ticket, right? I'm like, no, it doesn't feel the same to me. I want to feel the tickets, So
you know what? That is an interesting strategy. And there are some people who will play it just to get the separate tickets because they think the mojo is different there. But go ahead.
That comes from me being at the track. I like my tickets, right? Okay. Yeah. So we all have our way. So we come home, eat the Chinese food. It was delicious. Young's carry out. God bless them. They've been feeding me for 35 years. No kidding. I used to get David Simon and all the late night Rafael Alvarez, the late night Sun guys. I was the Chinese food runner in 1987 or 88. Back when I screwed the lottery numbers up. I told you this, right? So literally same era. And so I would go in and I get the tickets and I bring them home. We get our food. It's delicious. Fall asleep. I wake up at 4:30 in the morning and before her, and I come out and I see that like Maryland wasn't the winner. And I was so hoping to learn the name of the little place and be the million and have Roz put a purple bow on me and say we won $400 million, whatever it was going to be. And I said to my wife literally yesterday, I'm like, did you ever check those tickets? She's like, no, we didn't win. And I'm like, I'm telling John on you on our segment this week. So John, she hasn't checked the tickets. We didn't win the big banana. We know we didn't win the big banana because somebody else won it and they're having a good time.
Yeah.
But we didn't even check the tickets yet. Tell me we're crazy.
Well, yeah, I'll tell you you're crazy, but I'll also tell you this. As those jackpots rise, and it was well over $600 million when the Powerball was won last week and shared by two top tier winners. There are 9 other categories of winners. So the good news is you have 182 days from the drawing to claim your winning ticket. But a lot of people make that mistake. And what we see is that you get obviously more $10,000 winners, more $50,000 winners. We had $1 million Powerball winner in Rockville, Maryland during last week's run. So just because you don't win that big $600 million, it still could be. Well, no, that couldn't be. But you could have a healthy prize in there. You could have paid for your Chinese food in there.
Look, John, I'm going to tell you right now, if she takes those tickets, and we'll probably, check them. I check them online. We'll check them. If we win $20, I'm going to like do cartwheels through the condo here. Like, I'm going to be like so happy. I just want to win something. Now that I'm playing and I'm like involved with the lottery, I just want to I was so much fun to watch somebody else win when I gave them a scratch off.
Right.
Like, I just want that. You know why I want that feeling? And you're a Browns fan, so you understand this. Because the Ravens haven't won in 6 weeks and I can't win for 9 more months. I want to win something. You know what I mean? Right?
Yeah. That was a tough last. I won't even call it a slide. That was like a fall off a cliff. That wasn't even a slide. That was.
So I want to say
tough.
something to you. I've been on the radio 30 years and a couple of weeks now, right? I've never been able to say this sort of legally because it would sound like I'm a gambler, right? I might go bet against the Steelers this week just because it might be more fun. You know what I mean? Like, because you can do that now, right? Because of where we are. And this is legitimately one of the reasons we get together is because I really can go right now and bet against the Steelers in a bunch of different places here. And it's opening up even more. And I know the numbers came in for – you had a lot of angst, as I remember, back in September and October and November about whether this was going to get open and how it was going to go. Sort of record-setting numbers, and I know you want to crow a little bit about that, but getting it open was hard enough. But then making it work, and I always go back to this. This money goes back to the state. So we're not giving the money to Nevada anymore or Jersey or whatever. This is going to be something that really does benefit our state. And I think that's one of the things I'm proud about my involvement in it because I've known gamblers forever. I have not been one, but I might be this weekend. Get a big stake.
You know what? And you'll have a lot of company because this weekend the playoffs start and there's lots of great games on the docket. And you're right. This week we also introduced or announced our December results. 5 casinos got into the sports wagering business in December. And what we will do from this point forward is every month we will report to the public. Obviously, transparency is key. We will report what those wins and losses were. So let me just step through some of the numbers with you because this may be an economics 101 lesson, but it is, a lot of people think, oh, wow, there's millions of dollars coming into the state. Well, not really. That's not the way that the gaming works. So, for example, we had 5 casino properties in total. They spent in the month of December, and recognize they had staggered starts. A couple of them came on in week 2, another one in week 3, another one in week 4. So they didn't all start at the same time. But at the end of the month, there was over $16.5 million wagered by folks in these casinos. And of that, there were $13.3 million paid back to players. So that's the way the gaming business works. That money comes in, but based on the way that the bets are structured, the vast majority of that, 90% roughly on average, plus goes back to players. That's just the churn.
That's what makes people play. People play because they want to win, right?
Exactly.
And they do win.
So you'll hear gaming terms called handle and hold. And what the handle means is 16.5 million came in. That was the handle at the aggregate casinos. They paid their prizes, and what was left for them to hold, and that's, they use these words for a reason. The casinos hold about, let me get that to you, about a little over 3 million. So 16.5 came in, paid out all the winners. About 3.2 million was left. And from that, there are then some other expenses that are taken out, but then the taxable revenue is what's left. And so of the 3.1 million left, the state gets 15% of that. So it was roughly $469,000.
$500,000 in a couple of weeks. So, I mean, the numbers are not overwhelming. And I would say this, it's probably going to really fluctuate when there's not games to bet on in at a certain time. I wouldn't say March because of basketball or whatever, but I would think things are going to be a little different in June or July. I would, it's going to be a seasonal business in the way that football is a seasonal business or Ocean City is, right?
Absolutely. I mean, there is a roller coaster here. So anyone who is not informed or is a novice to this, it is not a straight line projection by any means. Right. It is very much cyclical, and it very much.
This isn't like selling pizza or cheeseburgers. Like literally, it's not going to look like that.
No. So clearly you have all 5 of them for the month of January, and going forward, and we'll add 2 or 3 others over the next several months, off track betting locations here in the state. but certainly with the playoffs and the Super Bowl, which is the crown jewel in sports wagering. So by the middle of February, you're right. This thing drops off like the Ravens season. It will just go right down after that until March Madness picks up again. But you're right. April, May, June, July. I mean, there's not a lot going on. Yeah, you have random events. You have baseball. Eventually, we'll have a full season of games, but it won't pick up again until September when the NFL starts again. But the promise then is that we'll be in the mobile wagering business for the NFL season of 2022, and there's a lot of thing that goes on behind the scenes between now and then. So a lot of work to do.
He's busy. He is John Martin, director of lottery and gaming, Maryland Lottery. He joins us each and every week to talk not just about winners, but about the information that goes in behind all of this. It's been many, many, many years in the making and the baking, and finally getting it open a couple of weeks ago. And I kid you, but I really want to get some beef bourguignon and like a little beef Wellington. So there's a chance that I may go dabble. There are 6 games. It's Super Wildcard Weekend for the lottery. For scratch offs and getting back to like the primary business of the lottery and where you are moving into the new year. I do kid a little bit about the Ravens scratch offs. You move from game to game, and we talk about this, but this was a fall game, right? And we've meandered and lingered a little bit longer. And even where I bought my ticket, you'll still see some of these games, but you're always rolling out new things. And I know I'm sure we're getting up on Valentine's and St. Patrick's, and here comes spring and Easter, right?
So the big news, I'm glad you teed that up. Well done. You ought to be a host on a media platform.
Someday they're going to put me on the radio, and at that point I'll get an audience.
There you go. Good. Well, let's keep those thoughts in mind. So next week, we are very, very pleased and proud to reintroduce our Monopoly branded scratch off tickets.
Is that with the little guy with the tuxedo running around?
There you go. That very same guy of Monopoly fame and lore. And the Monopoly brand is truly iconic in gaming circles. I mean, those people who venture to casinos, who play lottery games, you'll see that little guy in his top hat and monocle all over the place. And over the years, and I've been in the lottery business, it'll be 13 years next month. Over 13 years, he has come back and forth. He's got more lives than Ben Roethlisberger. I mean, this guy keeps coming back and coming back.
Well, it's a game to begin with, right? And it's a game everybody's played. Everybody's familiar with go to jail,
Exactly.
Everybody tried to buy the orange properties because you get out of jail and you pop them on New York Avenue. So everybody knows a little bit about Monopoly, right?
So what makes our launch next week different than just saying, oh, here's another scratch off, is physically the tickets look different. They are very, very well art directed, designed. So people will be very drawn to the look and feel. And we'll launch 4 Monopoly scratch off games, a $1, a $2, a $5, and a $10. We call that a family of games. So they'll be in marketplace starting the week of January 17th. But wait, there's more. For the first time ever in Maryland lottery industry, and it might be in the industry annals of all time, with the 4 games, we're also going to launch 2 of our fast play instant win games at a $3 price point and a $20 price point. So we'll have 6 Monopoly branded games in the market at the same time. You will get inundated with billboard advertising, with social media advertising, radio and TV, all funneling people towards this Monopoly branded family of games, because there's a big second chance contest. Much as you know and love the second chance contest we have with a number of other tickets, most notably the Ravens. But the second chance Monopoly tickets will allow people to not only win cash prizes, but there will be a progressive cash drawing, I believe 6 times during the first half of 2022. So stay tuned. A lot more details to follow. I think players are going to love it. I know our retailers will love it, but those people who really enjoy the Monopoly brand will get a chance to get a return to a fan favorite next week.
I want to land on Boardwalk with hotels. That's what I want to own. Does that sound right?
Right. It's been years since I played the game, and I don't know that I was ever very good at it. I don't have the patience to play like the whole game. I would kind of just bail.
You don't be building houses on Baltic Avenue and trying to, soak them for rent, that sort of thing.
So what was your token of choice? What was the thing you wanted to have around the board?
I always used the little thimble looking thing. That was my thing. But everybody, I thought about that. Wow, I haven't thought about that in a long time. You had to be a symbol, right?
Yeah, I was the race car. I like the little race car.
Everybody wanted to be the race car, I think, right?
Yeah.
That was part of the gig.
I'm not an original thinker. No, not at all.
John Martin is here. He is the director of the Maryland Lottery and Gaming, talking about sports and talking about scratch-offs. And at some point, getting back to some crab cakes, brother. I had everything lined up. Just speaking to the plague and Omicron and all of that and trying to stay safe. This has been, kind of a tough winter in that way. I mean, tough to plan right now. So I'm trying to plan out into March, just taking the next couple of weeks. I just don't want to get sick. And I know in every office space like you, I'm sure you've had people coming down with this because everybody's getting it. I just implore. I got my 3rd shot last week, so I'm laying low right now, John.
Yeah, it has been a challenge. And I know many of your listeners and viewers who are in the corporate world are trying to deal with it. We all are. I mean, there's no playbook, right? There's nothing here that says, well, here's what you do. A lot of the staff here are working from home. We're fortunate enough that we have a lot of things that can be done remotely. We can have people telework from the safety of their homes, but we also have things that you kind of need to be here for. And so that's a challenge when you've got a department that might be decimated with an illness and trying to rotate people and keep them safe while they're here. So we try to do the best we can, but oftentimes it's at the expense of maybe putting some things in place that you hadn't really considered before.
Yeah, we've all had to change sort of our elasticity in this, right? And our expectations. And I mean, even just today, my wife had a dermatology appointment and she said to me, we're supposed to get early detection and all that, and you can't get to the hospital. This goes back to vaccines and safety and not getting sick so that we don't overwhelm anyone. It's one of the reasons I'm just, I like people, John. I'm a people person. But this thing about staying home right now, it's good sound advice, and I'm making the most of it by spending some time with you. But I am going to get to the casino and have some beef Wellington at some point. I promise you, and a crab cake.
Well, when you do, make sure that you're practicing the protocols, social distance, masking, all the things that need to be safe and secure when you're in those environments.
I'm not waiting for March Madness to get my beef Wellington. I'm going to get that happening. Hey, John, appreciate you as always. And this time next week, and I think you're on next week, we'll get Carol later in the month, Doug as well. But I'm good. My wife's going to see if we won. So I'm going to this is my reminder. Check the tickets, right? Check the tickets.
Download the app. You can check them right on the phone. You can obviously go to our website, mdlottery.com, and check the numbers there. But please check. And if you don't have a winning ticket in there, feel free to enroll them in My Lottery Rewards and accumulate points for future purchases.
Well, if you feel the earth shake, it means I won $20 on a second chance ticket. All right.
Good.
Hey, if you win, I mean, do you celebrate more if you win $1 million than if you win 20 or 100? I mean, celebration's still the celebration, right? So
I think it is a little bit more. I've tell you what, I've seen people come in here, and I can tell you without a doubt, they celebrate more the bigger the win.
I'm trying to think of the last thing in my life I've won at, like anything. Like, where's the last time someone gave me a prize? I don't even know what it was.
Well, don't go back to the Springsteen story. If that's the last
time. It was too long ago. No. That was just most excited I ever was, because if I could get you a ticket right now on the Springsteen Tunnel of Love tour at the Spectrum in 1988, that would truly be priceless. You know what I mean? Especially on the anniversary of losing Clarence Clemens yesterday, right? His 80th birthday was on Tuesday this week. So we celebrated. So Clarence would have been there, all the songs. So that's a memory that you make for the rest of your life. So that's when you win the lottery, even if you win $80 like I did, you remember it forever. So there.
Absolutely.
And you'll remember it forever if I win a second chance on that Powerball that my wife hasn't checked it. John Martin is here. He's here to give you money. So make sure that you play, let yourself play, get on out, do what we did last week, and don't wait for the Powerball or the Mega Millions to get too high. Make sure you're getting involved. Those Monopoly ads will be all over the website too. I'm looking forward to that. I am Nestor. We are WNST, AM 1570, Towson, Baltimore, and we never stop talking. Baltimore, positive.